Hi everyone, and welcome to this week's Weekly Wisdom with myself, Dave Williams. I hope I'm finding you well, and I hope you had a phenomenal week last week. And as this is going out on a Monday, as ever, I hope you've had a great weekend as well. And this weekend, I seem to say this each week, don't I? That it seems to be a case of what I tend to do when I'm doing these weekly wisdoms is in reaction to what's happened the previous week. And it's going to be the same this week as it happens. And I may well have covered this particular topic previously. In all honesty, I can't recall. But I've had an awful lot of inquiries this week as far as one-to-one coaching is concerned, because people are actually just not feeling confident. And personally, I find that an absolute travesty because, as you know, if you've been following myself for a while, I'm a firm believer that we're all unique. We've all got these gifts, and it's wonder to actually share these gifts with ourselves first and then share them with everyone else to improve people's lives. But there's so many people this week that have just been getting in touch that it's as if that these gifts that they've got, these natural gifts, this wonder of uniqueness that people have are being suppressed. And so the topic of this week is, are you playing small or are you playing full out? And the reason why I'm framing it that way is so many people are coming to myself that they're actually playing small, in as much as other people's actions and the words that other people are actually saying, they're letting them impact them. So instead of them being, excuse me, their wonderful selves, they're taking heed of all this negativity that's being fired at them. That's, from what I understand, as far as the people that have had the pleasure of speaking to, it's not down to them, it's other people's negativity. But they've absorbed it all and taken it on board. So instead of being there, excuse me again, so sorry. Oh, frog in the throat. Instead of actually being their wonderful, effervescent selves, they're absorbed it all. So they're actually playing small instead of being their gregarious selves and playing full out. Because everyone's got an opinion. I'm sure you've realised that wherever you go, people have got an opinion on all sorts of things. And with social media these days, so many people actually share those opinions. And those opinions can either be empowering or disempowering in many instances. But the people specifically I'm actually referring to, and maybe this is something that you can relate to, I don't know. They're all work-related situations that people have been coming to myself with. And it's the likes of their bosses, the business owner, the CEO, or whoever. I've actually been saying and doing things and listening to other people and then applying that, but in a negative way. Now, if you can see the light flickering, I've just noticed it now. I don't know whether it's come over on camera. So the light that I've actually got that I'm using here, there's a fly or a moth or something like that flying around there at the moment. So you may well see it's flickering. So I'm not doing a strobe light or anything along those lines. It's just nature being nature. But anyway. And the reason why I shared that is the fact of, look, let's face it, things happen that we don't anticipate. But it's all about how we deal with them. And we can either adapt or we can just actually fall into that particular trap. And arguably, it's very similar when people are actually saying things. Because when people are actually saying it, it depends on, first of all, how they're saying it. Because we can say things in the form of banter, shall we say, that some people listening to the outside will think, well, that's really harsh. How can you say something like that? But if we've got fantastic rapport with someone and we do it with a smile on our face, we know that we're not, it's not being meant in a nasty way or an aggressive way or anything along those lines. It's as if we're actually playing with each other. Possibly the wrong terminology there, but you know what I mean. But sometimes people are actually saying and doing things that it depends on their particular motivation. And sometimes people are actually saying and doing things because they're not in a good place. Yeah, they're not necessarily feeling good about life. They've got challenges going on. And what they're doing, they're bringing those particular challenges to what they are then saying and doing, and the information that they're then putting out and sharing with other people. And sometimes they're making that personal. And if we're not actually strong, if we're not playing full out with ourselves and being confident in ourselves, then that's when we can quite easily absorb it and start to create these wonderful pictures, because we're always creating pictures of scenarios and everything. But sometimes these wonderful pictures we can actually create, but they have negative connotations. And we start to overthink things. Well, what did so-and-so mean by that? Did they really mean that? And I'm sure they were actually having a go at me. And if we're not careful, we can actually fall into that particular vortex of overthinking things and thinking that so many things are actually about us, when the reality is the person that's saying it's their issue, and they're just sharing, and I'll use the term verbally vomiting, their particular challenges onto other people. And maybe you've found that, recently with yourself. I don't know. And look, being perfectly honest, when I look back over time, I did that sort of thing as well. Not intentionally. But I did when I look back at certain scenarios, and I'm not proud of it by any means. Well, it's before I learned what I know now. And that would have had an impact on other people. So the thing is, if you are being impacted by others, then you have a choice as to listen to the information and digest it. And the choice is whether to absorb it and take it on board, or absorb it and delete it. If it's not factual, if you don't believe it, then if it's not factual, then delete it, because it's going to potentially impact you. Because what's going to happen, there will be one particular scenario. And let's say it's a negative thing that you feel that you've absorbed it, and someone's actually said something that you didn't necessarily agree with, or it's a comment that possibly about your behaviour or something along those lines. And when you start absorbing these things and start negative stacking, then, like I say, you're creating all these particular pictures. Not necessarily you personally, but it's a generalisation. So you've got this one stacked, and then the next comment comes along, and because already you've started to negative stack these, you're actually thinking from a negative place anyway. So when someone else says something, even if it's not directed at you, because we're in the process of thinking this particular way, in a negative way, we start thinking that, hey, maybe that's to do with me as well. And we stack something else that's negative on top of that. And then another scenario, and we stack something else that's negative on top of that. And before we know it, we're, instead of actually being our wonderful selves, that we're illuminating other people through our uniqueness, our wonderment, then we're illuminating people, but in a negative way. And quite often we're actually doing that, and we're generating that aura about ourselves that there's no need to do that. It's just the states that we're, as in the emotional state that we're getting into, because we're letting other people dictate to us, whether that's consciously or indeed unconsciously, we're letting other people dictate how our emotions are going to be. And I personally feel that's a travesty. And there's one particular person that I was speaking to the other day. Now, I know this person really well, and I've actually worked with them previously, and they're a phenomenal person. Absolutely wonderful. And the place that they are in at the moment is such a negative state, but that's not them. And there are outside influences that have actually been going on that particular individual has had a very small part in. A really minute part. And admittedly, I've heard one side of the story, I hasten to add. But like I say, it's not them. And what they've done is they've let all this stuff that's been going on for a matter of months now just build up, and all this negative stacking that they've been doing. And it's starting to create massive self-doubt. It's really hit the self-esteem. The confidence is starting to ebb away. And so much so, they are starting to question basically any decision they make, any relationship that they're having, whether it's, am I doing this the right way? Is this person looking for fault in me? I'm sure you get the picture. And that's it. I think that's personal travesty as far as this individual, and indeed the other individuals are concerned. And maybe if you're going through something similar, then it's a travesty for you as well, because we're not meant to be like that. We are here to actually be the best that we can be. And the best that we can be is when we're playing full out. When we are being our outrageous selves, in the nicest possible way, obviously, but we're actually doing that and impacting people the right way. When we're sharing our uniqueness, when we're building people up, and yet we know the reality is that so many people in society, they're not feeling great, so they want to bring people down. And the person that I've actually been speaking to, from what I understand of the situation, all of this has arisen because there is someone that is in a negative place and they're trying to spread negativity to actually bring this person down. And that's the reality. There are so many people that are living in that place that are not happy with their own lives, so they're going to spout all this negativity for other people with a hope of actually bringing people down to their level. And that's why I say we have a choice whether we absorb that and believe it and then start to play, and from a withdrawn place, or whether we can, just let it bounce off us or delete it, if you will, for another term, and actually keep on being, our true selves and actually playing full out. Because when we're playing full out, that's when life is great. Life is wonderful. And when you're playing full out, excuse me, I'm going to have a quick drink. Please excuse me. Sorry about that. Okay, short interlude there. When we're playing full out, it's not saying that we'll never have challenges, because we will. It's just that when we have challenges, they're so much easier to actually deal with that. Like I say, we have the choice to play small or to play full out and be our wonderful selves. And have fun while we're doing it, because when we do that, it actually comes from the heart. When we're playing full out, everything comes from the heart. And I appreciate you can't necessarily see me doing that on camera, but trust me, I am doing that. I'll try and lean up so you can actually see that. Because when we're playing from the heart, we're actually being truthful to ourselves. We're being truthful to ourselves. And when we're being truthful to ourselves, we're being truthful to others as well. See, when we're actually playing withdrawn or we're playing small, we're not going from the heart at all. We're going from the head. And we're trying to apply logic to everything. See, the reality is, when it comes to human beings, we are not logic driven. Okay, there may well be the odd one or two, but as a generalization, we're not logic driven. We're emotion driven. You think about it. When was the last time you bought something that was really nice? Yeah, I'm sure you have. Whether it be recently, it may well have been over the weekend, or indeed in the not too distant past. So if that was the case, why did you buy it? Yeah, go on, why did you buy it? Yeah, have a think about it. See, for most people, you wouldn't have thought, I'm buying this outfit because I need one. See, some people will have done, okay? Because their circumstances were changing, and let's just say they started a brand new job, so they needed an outfit for that job. Okay, I get that, that's logical. But the other thing is why did we really buy it? Now, we bought that outfit because, hey, we look good in that, don't we? Yes? Or indeed, if you bought anything else, it's because, you had an emotional attachment. It was going to give you something. It was going to help you feel a certain way when you had that outfit or indeed whatever it was. See, we're emotion driven. We qualify by logic in most instances. And that's the same for when we're actually playing full out or if we're playing small. When we're playing full out, it's emotion driven. When we're playing small, it's more often than not, it's logic driven. And when I say logic, it's the fact of because people are overthinking things, and we've all done it. We're human beings. We all do it at times. But so many people, when they're actually not feeling good, they are logically thinking that they think they're being strategic, that if I do this, it's going to make that person feel small. It's going to have an impact on their lives because I don't like them or whatever. But we have a choice. We have a choice whether we're going to absorb that or delete it. So the thing is, when you get comments that are actually said, by all means, digest them, think about them, and qualify them. And when I say qualify them, I mean, from the heart, is that particular comment right? Yes or no? Yeah, and let's say it's something that you've actually done in work, for argument's sake, or indeed not done. And in your heart of hearts, is it truthful? Yeah, if it's truthful, okay, accept it. Yeah, maybe it's a case of you made a mistake. And let's face it, you're a human being, so you're bound to make mistakes. We all do. And if it's justified, then okay, accept it, learn from it, and do better next time. But still play full out while you're doing it. And sometimes what we do when we hear things, we ignore the emotional side and just go straight into our logic, as I've touched on already. And the thing is, our logical brain is always looking for an answer. And if we can't see a good answer, then we turn it into a negative answer. And that's when we start stacking. Okay? So that's it. When we hear these things, look at them emotionally. Yeah, is it justified? Yeah, and if you know this particular person that's come out with something that's a bit more negative, should we say, yeah, when you were there, is this person in a good place at the moment? Now, that may well be something that you know, it may well be something that you don't know, and in which case, fine, okay? But if you do know whether they're in a good place or a not so good place, if they're in a not so good place, you know that realistically, deep down, they're saying it because they're hurting for one particular reason. You may not know what the reason is, but they're hurting. So they are firing out instead of actually absorbing the information and looking to change things for themselves. And we've all done that. Everyone on the planet has done that, let's be honest. But if they're actually saying it in a good way, and they're still coming from an emotional way, then you have the choice whether to think, okay, realistically, they're right in what they're saying. And if they're right in what they're saying, fine, great, still play full out, but like I say, learn from it and move forward with it. Because you're the only one that knows with any particular actions that you've done, whether you've done it from the right place or not. But if you know you've done it from the right place, whether it's got the exact result that you're looking for, or indeed whether it's the case of the result could have been better, if you've done it from the right place with all the information that you had at that particular time, then you can't do anything else. So let's say that this particular weekly wisdom is, are you playing small or are you playing full out? Yeah, hopefully it'll still be a case of you're actually playing full out. Because people will always have opinions. You're never going to agree with everyone over everything. That's called utopia. And utopia does not exist. So take on board, when someone actually says something, decide what it means to you. If it's great, fantastic. If it's not so good, learn from it. But don't start playing small. Because then you're doing yourself an injustice. And you're doing everyone else an injustice as well. And you're not on the planet to play small. You're on the planet to play full out and be the best that you can be. And impact yourself and indeed everyone else. So I hope that makes sense as far as this week's weekly wisdom is concerned. And like I say, keep on playing full out. Keep on being the best that you can be. And look, no one's perfect. We all make mistakes. So when people pass comment, think about it, digest it, and either utilize it in a good way or delete it if you know it's not right. If it's something that is justified, then fine, learn from it. Learn from it to move forward, to make the next time you do it, the next time you pass comment, the next time you work with someone, make it an even better experience. So like I say, I hope this has actually been of interest to you. I hope you've got some insights into this as well. So, so until we catch up next week, have a wonderful week. Keep on playing full out, and being your unique, wonderful self. And have a great week, and I look forward to catching up with you next week. All right. In the meantime, keep on being special and catch up soon. All right. See you later. Bye now.